I'll be talking about free and new education in South Africa according to my story. Now, who am I? My name is NTOKOZO. Zwide kalanga mkhatshwa. Mkhatshwa ungakhatshwi ngenyawo ukhatshwa ngenkomo emhlophe. That's basically my creed, and it really means a lot to me because it tells people where I'm from and what I'm about. I was born in Soweto, but I grew up in a place called Vaal Triangle, which is south of Joburg. It's a 45-minute drive from Joburg. I grew up in what you would describe as an emerging middle class. So I was exposed to a lot of things growing up. Sorry. Yeah, basically, I was exposed to a lot of things, a lot of cultures, a lot of people, absorbed a lot of information, and eventually formed an identity of myself. My formal education began in 1994. My parents came from a history of limited opportunities. So their values are very strongly aligned with stability and having a respectable profession. Sorry guys, I didn't know I'd be this emotional. Yeah, basically I'm just like a mix of township and suburb. As I was saying, growing up, I was exposed to a lot of things, so I knew a lot of people and absorbed a lot of cultures. And I found out that I was a very creative person. So I would draw, I would sing, I would do all types of things, and it would only be regarded as a pastime thing or a hobby. So when it came time for me to go to tertiary, it wasn't a matter of me choosing what I want to do, but what I need to do. So advertising was always a passion of mine, but it wasn't known and it wasn't a respectable profession. Furthermore, it was very expensive. And I had to study accounting, and I did it because, you know, it's either you cry about it or well, it's ironic. I'm almost crying, but either you cry about it or you just do it, you know. So that's when I got the first reality check of my life. I knew that moving on to the next stage in my life meant I had to consider a lot of things, and one of them was money. Education is very expensive. It's a $4.4 trillion industry globally. So it was a great shock for me that for me to apply myself, I needed a huge financial backing. So I was caught in between my identity, abilities, my parents' circumstances, and money. So the true value of my education was compromised and jeopardized. I was quite unhappy as an accountant because I wasn't solving real problems. I wasn't expressing myself. I had no platform for anything creative. And I couldn't really improve myself the way I wanted to. And the very essence of my being is inspired to bring fundamental change in my own life, my family, my community, country, and ultimately the world. I am because we are. And that's why I always keep my ear to the ground. Now, how I know that the education system is failing us is because of a couple of points. So according to the poverty trends, 55% of people live in poverty. Unemployment rate is sitting at 27.7%. And higher education is the only thing growing in price globally over the last 35 years. So the education system is supposed to help us, but it's really a beast. It's large, it's traditional, it's resistant to change, it's overpriced. What does this mean for people like me and you? See, there's a 48% dropout rate in education in this country. What that means is, in this class, there's 55 of us, right? 26 of us won't graduate. And who are those 26 people supposed to be? Is it supposed to be based on where you come from, how much you afford, or is it supposed to be based on your ability? The root of this dropout rate is financial constraints, lack of funding. Students are enrolled in the wrong qualification, extreme poverty, in other words, no food or accommodation. So this campaign, Fees Must Fall, is not it's not a political thing, do you understand? When I look at this picture, I see my brothers, my sisters, my friends, my neighbors. I also see myself, because the challenges they face have nothing to do with their intelligence. So it's pretty clear that education was commodified, and the complexities of commodifying education have sparked a great debate. There's a debate around making education accessible for the poor, making it free just for the poor, and making those who are deemed to afford to pay. And there's also a debate of whether education should not be commodified, whether you afford or not. So this debate is taking place between policymakers and the government. And as you can see in the picture, it's going to take forever, because these guys can't even agree on anything. It's like nothing's changed. It's all the same things, the same characters in a book with different names. That's a quote from a rap artist called Black Thought from the legendary Roots Crew. And the reason that resonates with me is because he was harping at the fact that it's ridiculous that things don't change. And we know that things change. And Claire, this is your moment. Even Claire knows things change because Zimbabwe is finally free. So things do need to change because they can change. The future. Everybody's been talking about the future. The fourth industrial revolution is coming upon us. Digital disruption. There are more phones than there are people in the world. Digital disruption is characterized by exponential growth. In other words, it doesn't stay stagnant. It changes all the time. It evolves. Innovation comes. Ideas come, and they're used to improve society in technology. Africa is going to be the next to get hit by the e-commerce. Africa's population growth will exceed the rest of the world combined by 2030. But what are we doing about this? Companies like Facebook know this already. There are 101 million users of Facebook in sub-Saharan Africa. 98 million of those people use their phones for Facebook. So clearly, technology is growing at an exponential rate, and you kind of wonder why education is staying as stagnant as it is. The other day, I was watching a video of an artificial intelligent robot called Sophia. It's being taught how to love, how to care, how to understand human emotions. How ridiculous is it that something can be given that much attention, and yet education is just left for politics? So according to the World Economic Forum, I read a document talking about their new vision on education. It tells us that in addition to skills like numeracy and literacy, we need competencies like collaboration, creativity, and problem solving. We need character qualities like persistence, curiosity, and initiative. And our education system is not currently doing that. We are an exception, of course, and that's why I'm happy to be here, because it took me 1 year to change my life. Now, technology alone is not effective. We need products that are pedagogically sound. Education needs to be personalized, and it needs to be adaptive. We already know that the signs are all around us that education can be affordable, and it can be changed because it's not currently working for us. There are work programs for school leavers. That's doing pretty well. There are online courses. Just the other day, I signed up for a course on Udemy on UX designing. I know if I had tried to enroll in university for UX designing, I'd probably, be facing a lot of barriers, but it was that easy for $100. Imagine how many lives that can change. So There's a quote by Albert Einstein that says, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. And the reason I used this quote is because a lot of bosses at work will tell you, if you can teach it, then you know it, you know? So that's a clear indication that there's an opportunity for people who are already in the workplace to be involved in the education system. Research shows that workers are productive for 3 hours out of the 8. Where are the rest of the hours going? Learnership programs for school leavers, like I said, is already a thing happening, and it can be improved if we use the same effort we use on technology, on education. Now, all of this research and insight that I've just spoken about is pretty meaningless if we do nothing about it. So I urge everyone here to stand up for something or just enjoy the show. Thank you.